Welcome to another episode of Divorce TV, and we have our Marisha Stewart, Lioness Queen, on very shortly as our expert interview. Another shared story from Tom Nash, focusing on co-parenting, and a beautiful healing from Sharon Stiles. But right now we're going to head off for the news. This is a bit of a sad one. Alice Griffiths, Ioan Griffiths' wife, Alice Evans, vows to tell her divorce story and suggest unflattering selfie of her contributed to the split after branding the actor a S***T in now deleted posts. She's claiming that these posts were actually deleted by him hacking into her account. This is all a bit messy. Hours after she branded the Fantastic Four 47 actor as a S***T, clearly her favourite word, for allegedly blindsiding her and filing for divorce in now deleted posts, Alice, 49, shared a throwback snap of the former couple and said asking for a selfie could have sparked the divorce. Sounds a little bit stretched to me. The black and white photo showed Alice puckering up to a sombre Ioan as he stared down the camera, with the beauty writing, "Listen, I am still sad and I'm still heartbroken." But bad move, she goes, really bad move, possibly even divorce move. We'll see. I mean, the guy's a pro and he looks great. Back soon with more #divorce story. The actress took to Instagram on Wednesday, where she claimed her daughter Elsie, 7, had been left devastated by the divorce and that she was scared of what Ioan's response would be to her decision to comment publicly. The star then appeared to allege that Ioan has a new love, saying, "Why would it even matter? I'm scared that my little girls would be disappointed by their dad's behaviour and model that in their future relationships with the opposite sex. I did not find out my father was an S***T until I was about 32 years, and I'm convinced that that made me the woman I am today." Right, clearly some baggage there, which is being completely projected onto this current divorce. This is not unusual, and throwing it all onto social media is not as good an idea as perhaps talking to a really good psychotherapist or counsellor and dealing with it that way. But unfortunately, she seems determined to use social media instead. I think this whole idea, she says, of keeping your private lives private is, well, what leads to child abuse and domestic violence and mental abuse. I couldn't believe how many people told me to accept it with dignity. And she's got a point here, actually. She says, what is dignity? I think dignity is a way of covering up our own hurt. I think dignity is a way of others telling us to shut up because they don't want to think about our hurt. Absolutely, if you're angry and you're upset, the last thing you want people telling you is to be dignified and to be quiet. So I completely get that. I still don't think that the way she's using social media is great, because her 7-year-old is old enough to go on Instagram. Alice once again alleged the Forsyth Saga actor had locked her out of her own Twitter, saying, "When my ex-husband, Ioan Griffith, finally tells me what he changed my Twitter password to, she says, I can't do Instagram. It's beyond," which is odd because she's been posting on Instagram. The filing comes after Alice claimed in January that the actor had walked out on the family in a shock Twitter statement in which she accused the Liar star of mentally torturing and gaslighting her. The estranged couple married in 2007 and shared daughters Ella, 11, and Elsie, 7. Alice wrote, "It must be weird to comprehend why somebody would share their pain on social media rather than with their nearest and dearest." Well, it is when you've got daughters 7 and 11. I get that, she says. "You must think that I'm a a-hole. I'm not, though. I don't have a mum or a dad. I don't have any close friends in LA. I've looked after my kids for half their lives alone. My husband knows that." I definitely do feel for her on that front. If you're completely alone and desperate, it's too easy to just go and use social media in that way and to find and get support that way. But again, she's got kids who can go on and see it. So I'm not sure that's really a good idea. Earlier this year, Yeon's mother insisted no one else was involved in the breakdown of his 13-year marriage to Alice. It came after Yeon and Alice released a joint statement insisting they were committed to their children. The United Front followed an extraordinary 24 hours which saw a series of tweets posted by the actress and subsequently deleted, claiming her husband was leaving the family and she was being gaslit and mentally tortured. My fear for her is the way she's behaving could easily be used against her, and she would be much better working with a good therapist at this stage rather than throwing this all on Twitter and Instagram. But the point of sharing the story really is it can be desperately lonely if you haven't got family, you haven't got friends. Telling her to be dignified isn't going to help, but if her social media friends are her true friends, they should be helping her to access some proper support and help. Moving on now to the Daily Mail. Right, this one talks about a multi-millionaire care homes tycoon who's selling his £1.5 million collection of classic Bentleys, including some of the finest in existence, to pay divorce bill, having already sold couple's £5 million stately home. This is, I'm afraid, a bit typical of the Daily Mail. He doesn't really need to sell them for the money. It's a different reason. Mr. Cannon, who owns a chain of care homes, has since had to have the 7 Bentleys and a 1959 Chevrolet Corvette moved into storage. The 7 immaculate motors are expected to sell for more than £1.5 million when they go under the hammer. Mr. Cannon, 67, said, "My ex-wife and I split up in September 2019, and after selling the house I didn't have anywhere to store the cars. I have been under pressure to sell them as part of the divorce. I am not being forced into it, but it is sensible for me to sell them." The sell plate takes place on March the 11th, so if you fancy a really nice Bentley, you know where to go. But if you've ever had an issue with having to sell something because basically you just didn't have anywhere to put it after you got divorced, do share it in the comments. And finally, from the Mirror, here she goes again. Katie Price. Very nice jumper she's got on there. Katie Price divorces her third husband, Kieran Hayler, and announces, "I'm free," but probably not for very long. Finally, the divorce papers have been signed by both the stars, says the Mirror, nearly 3 years after they went their separate ways for good. They have remained amicable, which is great, while co-parenting their children Bunny and Jet together following their dramatic split, it says. Jet and Bunny are Katie's youngest children. The glamour model, 42, said of the divorce, "Finally, we've signed the divorce papers. I'm so happy that I'm free from that marriage." And why is she free? Why is she so happy? Here it comes. "All I can do is wish him luck. I can't wait to continue my life with Carl." Now Kieran is free to marry his fiancée, Michelle Pentecost. Meanwhile, the mother of 5 has set her heart on marrying her latest love interest, Carl Woods. They aren't engaged yet, but huge hints suggest the couple aren't far away from making that commitment to each other in the near future. It seems mother of 5 Katie has finally found happily ever after with car salesman Carl. They have hopes of having a baby together, with Katie regularly taking pregnancy tests. Good luck, Katie. Let's move towards speaking with our expert. And hello, Marisha. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on the show. And well, the first question I have to ask you is, I'm going to move it a little bit because it's right under your face there, and it's as you can probably see, it's a bit annoying. We don't want to see that instead of your lovely face. What is a lioness queen? Because everybody's wondering.
So a lioness queen is one who has experienced divorce, who has dealt with overcoming from that emotional trauma and trying to figure out what their destiny is.
I love that. So there's quite a few lioness queens then. That's so much better than me calling yourself someone who's just a divorcee. This is I really like that. So tell us a little about your story and how you came to support other people.
So I went through, I was with my ex-husband for 24 years. And it was I mean, ever since I was an adult, I was with this person. And so he basically just said he really never wanted to be married. Um, and that was heartbreaking. I had been with him since 18, and for somebody just to, just to not want it, it was devastating for me. And so we lived together for a year before we physically split. I only have one son. We only have one son together. And it was just really challenging for me because he was my life. He was my everything. Even before we were married, I was adding his name behind my name. You know how we as girls do. And so I just didn't know what that would look like without being connected to him. I didn't know my identity. I didn't know who I was without that person. And that's something that a lot of us women struggle with. And sometimes it doesn't have to be with someone for that long of time frame, but we just lose ourselves so much, especially being moms and taking care of the home and, raising our children. It just becomes overwhelming. And so I literally had to go through the process of just working through that emotional trauma. And so definitely it was my faith. It was also therapy because I dealt with suicidal ideation. And it was traumatic for me. And I really wanted to make it work, but you can't make something work when the other individual doesn't want the relationship. And so, although, my values and my religious beliefs are, hey, let's try to figure this out and work this out, but I can't make a man stay. And so I had to work through it. And once I worked through it, then it's kind of really when I started to realize, hey, there are other women like me who need help letting go, who need help working through the residue of whatever happened in the relationship and evolving into being residue free. And that's kind of my motto, helping women being residue free. Because when you're residue free, then you're in a better space to start a new relationship fresh, right? To start it in a way that's a clean slate. There's no baggage. I heard you talking about that earlier. There's no residue that can impede it. And so that's really kind of how I got started.
So Alice Evans really should be talking to you, Marisha, because I know I was being a little bit mean to her there, but I just think that from the children's point of view, it's not great what she's doing. But I completely understand why she's doing it and that pain. And we try, and letting go is such a key thing. You said that because we want to control it. We're like, how dare they not love us anymore? It's just not allowed. And it seems silly now, but at the time, I remember being in that space as well. It's just luckily I it wasn't so easy back then to dive onto social media. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, God knows what I would have got up to. So I totally understand the pain she's in, and it is key because I'm sure he won't do this to her, but there are quite naturally mothers who vent their spleen, are very angry, and then the next thing they know, if things get messy, there's those what she's saying could be used to indicate that she's not quite stable and can be really used against her. So it's actually quite dangerous for herself that what she's doing, I think. You do need to be really careful. So how did you, in your own way, so what were the key stages that you went through for in that letting go? Because it's so hard to get from where Alice Evans is now to where hopefully we both are now, because it's an awful lot in between. What were the key stages that you went through?
So for me personally, it was realizing God loved me, and that was enough, right? And I think when you're in a space where you realize that you are loved, then you kind of can move to that next phase of learning how to love yourself. And so I think in those phases and spaces, oftentimes we don't give ourselves the time to really love ourselves and realize we are loved and we don't need a man. We don't need someone else, right, to love us in order for us to feel whole. And I think that's the key that I try to help a lot of women with, because we don't like being alone, but it is in that alone time that you really learn who you are. You really learn what you like. I always like to say, because I'm remarried now, actually, and I would say I've never been watered like this before in my life. I've never been loved like this before in my life. And we as women don't know what type of water we need, you know. And so when you don't give yourself that space to know what type of water you need, then you'll accept any type of water, or you accept something that you think is water and not.
It's kind of
And
a
so I
muddy
think that was
puddle.
key.
It's a bit of a muddy
Yeah.
puzzle.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
that's really interesting you say that, because I remember I remember joining a group of Buddhists and chanting, and that was amazing, because it's a lot of it's also being surrounded by lovely people with shiny faces and who aren't talking about your split, and it's all completely separated. I also remember reading in A Course in Miracles this idea that you've got, we think we love someone, but is it, love is unconditional. So is it not just need? And really starting to think about what love is, and it is unconditional, and it is about, as you say, learning how, and people will have their own different journeys on how to do this, but unless you can get into that point where you go, I don't need another person to validate me or make me happy. Oh my God, that's so powerful. And so, but how when you started to for that to really happen for you, what kind of things did you notice? Do you remember that sort of process, that time, that or is it like literally one day you woke up and went, hey, I feel completely liberated? There must have been things that you noticed on the way.
So it's definitely a process, because again, I like I said, I had been with him for so long, and I did not know how to just be me. And the process, and really, what the biggest piece was, I didn't realize how much I changed. I didn't realize how much I evolved into a point where I tried my best to meet his needs, not necessarily being me. And so during that process, I realized who I was. I realized that I kind of forgot who I was. And and therapy really helped me. I think therapy is a really good tool, along with my faith, right? I just think it was a really good tool to help me get out, all of the negativity that I had, all of the emotions that I had, and really help me to find the answer within me. That's what therapy does. It really tries to help you find the answer that's really already there, but oftentimes we're scared to admit, we're scared to face, we're scared to even move. And so therapy kind of gave me the tools to help me, to embrace me again, to love me again, to help me to understand my worth. And that once that clicked and I understood the worth of my crown, then I started to believe in me.
Beautiful. And so how do you work? Tell us just a little bit to finish off with how you help people and work with people, because you've taken what you've learned and you're kind of giving back in a way, aren't you, through the work that you do?
Yeah, so it's so interesting, because I realized that the reason why the attack was so great, especially for my suicidal ideation. So I truly believe that the things that we go through, there are things that we go through, that there's purpose in our pain. And so I truly believe that God wanted me to help others, work through the trauma and really move forward. And so, I have a podcast that I provide inspirational messages weekly. And then also, I'm really COVID kind of slowed my social gatherings down. However, but last Valentine's Day, I decided I wanted to have a small group of women get together who are Lioness queens. And some of them were really amazed that I even asked them to go out for Valentine's Day. And I wrote all of them a love letter from God. just letting them know how much God loved them. And we just had a good time. And everybody didn't know each other, but by the end of the night, it was just amazing as how much of our experiences were so similar, even though we didn't know each other. And it was just so powerful. I had another one actually this year. And this one was with 25 women, of course, virtually. And again, women just felt like, man, this feels really good connecting with other women, and we have the same experiences. We're on the same journey. We're trying to figure this thing out. We're trying to realize who we are and the worth of our crown, trying to move towards whatever is in our destiny and our purpose while we're here on this earth. And so I also try to have different venues. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of limited with COVID, but it was just so powerful. And I mean, we played games. We just had a really good time. But it just and women, of course, feel they really feel in awe, especially because I'm remarried. And actually, before I started Lioness Queen, I actually asked my husband about the idea. And he said to me, I think it's so powerful because there's so many women who have trouble with relationships because they didn't do the work within themselves in order to be whole. And so,
Well,
yeah, so that's
I hope I can get an invite for next year's Valentine. I'd love to come along to
yes,
that.
yes.
And later on, I'll send you links to all the different platforms the show's on. I'd love you to put in the comments links to your podcast and anything else that you think would be good for people to share.
Yes,
I
will.
Brilliant having you on the show, Marisha. I've really enjoyed it, and I
Thank
hope I speak again to you
you.
soon. Bye
Thank
bye for
you.
now.
You as well. Bye bye.
Lovely. So you've got, for those of you who go faith, what's that? There is a spiritual journey. Everyone has their own. It doesn't have to be anything to do with organized religion. It can be whatever it is. But during divorce, during traumatic times, don't sniff at it because it can be an opportunity to open yourself up to something really powerful and interesting, and whatever route you take to your own self-love is going to be a healthy and good one. You just got to find the right one for you. Now we're going to have a quick masterclass. Right, we're on accountability. Ooh, not everybody likes that word, but it's really important in the divorce journey, and it's part of Navigate by the Stars in the divorce discovery journey, which you can get on the Best Way to Divorce app. Now, what do you need to be accountable for? Well, I would make a short list actually, and think at things like not saying bad things about the other parents unless they're at least a mile away from the children, because children have very good hearing. I'm always indebted to my children for when one day I was a bit grumpy and I was saying mean things about their dad, and they just said, "Don't you talk about our dad like that." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much for telling me. I'm really sorry. I was grumpy. I wasn't thinking." And I had them to police me, so I was very lucky, and they were very happy to police me on that one. So, but you just got to find a way not to diss the other parent in front of the children, and you need to hold yourself accountable for that. Or in my case, my kids held me accountable, so that just made it easier for me. It's great. Not showing disregard or contempt in our expressions when the other parent is mentioned as well. So it could just be that those little passive aggressive oh god, it's hard not to do sometimes, but it can be a habit, so really watch yourself on that. And if you can get anybody, good friends, if it's not appropriate for your children to do it, good friends to spot you when you're doing it, get them to pull you up on it. Don't try and do it all on your own. Not blaming the other parent for causing you too much stress. That's a really hard one. If they happen to be like dragging you through the courts, not giving you any money, that's tough, but it's not your children's fault, so they should not be suffering the consequences of that by you being grumpy and miserable and dissing the other parent. And of course, see, this goes both ways. Daddy's about mummies too. And how well are you looking after yourselves physically and mentally? I hope Alice is listening. it's a very traumatic time, and you can go a bit crazy. I definitely went a bit crazy. I'm lucky there wasn't social media around in the way it is now, because I probably would have been doing what Alice is doing. So just take care of yourself and get some help, coaching, counselling, healing. There's lots of opportunities there to make sure you stay on track, because you really do need to. So prepare now for our shared story. We're going to be having a chat to Tom Nash. Tom's been on the show before, and he can't actually hear me, but hopefully you won't notice. So I'm asking him 3 questions, and with any luck he will answer them in the right order. Otherwise it's going to seem a bit strange, but some technical hitch he's got his end, but he's here with us and you should be able to hear him fine. Welcome, Tom. Great to see you. And my first question is, I'm going to make sure I unmute you first, because that would be helpful. And is
I can actually hear you if you can hear me.
Oh, really?
I figured it out.
That's amazing. That's amazing, because I just told everyone that if you answer them in the wrong order, it's going to look really weird. So I just thought I'd be honest up front. What a relief. Well done for sorting out the technical hitch. Hallelujah. So, great. I can ask you completely different questions now. No, we're going to stick to the plan. Co-parenting story. You're going to share your own co-parenting story briefly with us, and also you're going to talk about and I might ask a couple of other questions as we go through. But if you can tell us a bit about that would be great.
Cool. Well, first of all, it's nice to be able to hear you, which is fantastic. Although I've got my big headphones on. I thought I'd wanted to talk today about my kind of journey to co-parenting, and I say towards co-parenting because whilst we're in a very amicable and even friendly way of communication now, it wasn't always like that, and it very rarely is for a lot of people in those earlier days. In actual fact, kind of winding it back, at the very beginning we were actually in a state of effectively parallel parenting. So for a lot of people who maybe don't know what parallel parenting is, they haven't come across it before, it's where actually you're both parenting but separately. Every single thing is separate. You have different rules, different boundaries, different bedtimes, separate birthdays, gatherings, family gatherings, even obviously things like parent-teacher evenings and things like that. So it's all completely separate. One of the things that I noticed from my own experience, both as a child growing up from a divorced family, and then later as a husband and father from my own divorce, is actually those direct impacts to the children. And actually what I was starting to witness in all kind of walks of their life, all their daily life, from their communication with their friends at school, obviously their communications with myself and mum, where they would feel conflictions and affiliations as well between the parents. And for us, it was about having to make those changes. And it was really interesting, obviously, the last slide that you had there around accountability, because it was around, well, what would we both need to be accountable for and start to change within our story and within our approach and what we both brought to the table. And it's through those changes and actually a shift towards co-parenting, whereby actually now we are extremely supportive of each other. I'm obviously doing what I do as a divorce coach. She's my story gets told a lot in a lot of different places. That's also her story as well. Obviously, it's my version of the story. But obviously we've moved to a situation now where we are very supportive of each other, where we do go to digitally at the moment, but parents' evenings together. We talk and work with the children together, and even in the smallest of things, and you were just mentioning a minute ago within the accountability about that, even those kind of mutterings under the breath when you're a bit fed up with your fellow co-parent. But even in those smallest of scenarios of when I go and pick my boys up and they're busy on the Xbox or iPad, whatever it is, and mum's saying, come on boys, dad's here, gotta go. And it gets to the third time of mum asking, that's when I'm there as that united front to back her up, and I'll go in and it'll be, boys, listen to your mum 3 times now, don't disrespect her, go and apologise, and we still back each other up and support each other.
That's so good for the children. You do that. But what I have to ask you though is, lots of people will be going, well, how did you go from parallel parenting to co-parenting? And parallel parenting is better than being at war. I mean, for some people that is all they can do, especially if it's very difficult. So there's nothing wrong with that. But to be able to go from that to the amount of stress it must release from you, your ex-wife and your children by being able to do that. But how did you go from one to the other? Was there a particular moment or turning point or a decision? You didn't just get up one morning and go, we're going to be accountable and make this work.
Yeah, no, I think the actual, I suppose, the kind of immediate trigger that made a adverse impact is actually part of the wider story as well. In fact, that I think I mentioned to you this privately before, Susie, but my ex-wife's boyfriend is my girlfriend's ex-husband. So in that respect, we are all connected. And of course, my partner has 2 children with her ex-husband. So you have this pot of blended children going between the 2 homes. So actually, if they're going and muttering the things that other people have said at the other house, it's to the alternate collective parents. So for us, we really needed to find a way to shift towards co-parenting, because you've got these 4 children that are in the mix all the time. I suppose the single biggest game-changing moment was sometime after a final court hearing, child arrangement order hearing. Things were still very contentious, and it was one day when I never know what to say, my girlfriend's ex-husband or my ex-wife's boyfriend, but he turned up to drop his 2 off, and I said, see, he was pretty down about something, and I just said to my partner, I said, just go and invite him in for dinner. It's late, it's cold, it's dark, like he's down, there was something going on at the time. I said, just go and invite him in. She said, he won't. I was like, but you've got to ask. So she went outside and she said, Dan, do you want to come in, have dinner? We always cook too much anyway. Dan, do you want to come in for dinner? And he said, no, it'll just be weird, it'll be awkward. And she said an amazing line, which will stick with me forever. And she said, it only has to be weird if you make it weird. And he went and parked the car and he came in. And yeah, the first time it was awkward, and there's that sense there.
And that was so brilliant that he did that, because it takes courage to do that.
Oh, hugely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the thing that follows on from the courage is you have to take that first step of leap of faith to, again, put your trust in someone that maybe has hurt you, or maybe you were the one that hurt them. And you have to take a new leap of faith and a new form of trust to say, right, I'm kind of putting myself out there again to work with you as a co-parent. Don't hurt me again in this way, because it's different. This isn't just me now; it's our children. And I think that was our kind of biggest impact. And the bit that follows the courage is the consistency and the commitment to it as well. It's one of the things that in the very early days of myself and my partner getting together, when relationships were strained and contentious, every time that my partner's children come home, every time they walked in the door from being at the dad's, not because I was Spanish Inquisition and interrogating, but I'd always say to them, how's daddy? In a way that is inviting to them, because their dad's important to them. Apart from mum, he's the second most, he's the most important person in their life. And to show an interest in something that's important to them, showing them that you care in that way, but a genuine and authentic interest. How's daddy? How's he getting on? And he was going for an interview. Did he get his job? Or he's changed his car? And things like that.
Yeah. And and that's such a good point. I hope you're going to come back, aren't you, and tell some more, because you've got lots of shared stories you can share. But it's a brilliant one to end on, because it is that allowing the children they just want you to be happy, and they want everyone to be happy and not fighting. And to be able to talk openly and know that they can say what happened and what went on, and that they're not making you sad while they do it, is vital. Otherwise they will try to protect you and they won't tell you what's going on. And sometimes that's particularly not a good thing, because sometimes you do need to know what else is going on in their lives. But it's wonderful, and I really, really admire you, Tom, and I'm so glad you've come on and shared it, because particularly not enough dads speak out about how they've gone from a very bad place to actually a really good place, and they should be bloody proud of themselves, really, and so should everyone else, all the other co-parents involved, and I think it's something to be celebrated. So I'm really grateful, and we'll have you on again soon, and you can tell us some more, because I'm sure you've got some stories from some of your clients as well that would be really great to hear from. Take care, and well done for sorting out the technicals. We'll be fine next time. Bye for now. Bye. I love those positive stories. If you've got some, it don't have to be positive. It could be that you're still struggling and you can't work out how to make this happen, and the co-parenting's driving you mad. Do feel free to adding some comments. And if you go onto the Best Way to Divorce app, you will have. Actually, I'm going to show you. Yeah, here we are. This is the one we've got here. The what I call the app roulette, different tiles. The one. If you go into the welcome pack, there's some fantastic co-parenting resources which are really good even if you're not getting on very well. And I'm just thinking what else would be really useful. We've got the 30 short videos. They have quite a lot of co-parenting ideas and information in there. But most important, join the Secret Divorce Group, because there you can get ongoing support. I can give you introductions to useful people. Don't try and do it all on your own. Well, Erica's just had a lovely comment here. She said, here we go. Erica said, Tom's story is wonderful. I wonder if he has advice for how other parents can get from parallel parenting to co-parenting. Well, good question, because we hope we've covered that to some extent, but I think we need to hear a bit more. And she says you're a real role model, Tom. So thank you so much for that. And thanks, Erica. We need to get you back on the show again soon, Erica, and hear more about what you're up to. And now we're popping into just want to mention at last the next workshop, which is coming up soon in April, on Thursday evening on the 15th of April. It's a UK workshop, but if you are watching from the US or any other English speaking country, obviously a lot of the legal and financial side, some will be UK specific, but a lot of it would apply anywhere, and there's a lot of key principles. So it's very much, you'd be amazed that even if you've got a very difficult ex dragging you through the courts, there's a lot you can do to literally save yourself thousands and thousands, whether it's pounds or dollars, that you probably wouldn't have even thought to ask. So it's not just about saving money, it's about saving you stress and helping you also understand that don't give up on dispute resolution just because you're in a nasty divorce or they're a bit of a narcissist. Don't believe that there's no place for dispute resolution. It just depends how you use it. And we'll be going into that in the workshop. And in the other part, there's certainly useful for everybody, and the QR code will take you straight to the information page there. It's about how do you deal with that very controlling, coercive person. We've got the lovely Ruth Driscoll in the workshop. We'll even have a breakout room as well, so you can really get up close and personal with the experts. And we've got other fantastic divorce squad team as well who can be there to help you. So that's useful for everybody, whatever country you're in. So we won't turn you away if you're not English. But get yourself into that if you're in a difficult situation. I do have another one also coming up in June, which will be our kind of more divorce financial workshop, really ideal for checking things out if you're not expecting it to get nasty. So that will be coming up, but because so many people are having such a hard time with difficult relationships, we wanted to have a workshop specializing in that, and there will be both legal, financial and wellbeing experts at that event. Moving forwards, we are now ready for our healing. So deep breath, relax, and I'm gonna bring on Sharon. And Sharon, welcome.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. So thank you once again, and you're going to take us on a lovely journey now. So where are you going to take us?
So I'm going to take us into a positive future today. So it's about taking the positive things from the past and using them in the present, and then taking them forward into a positive future that takes those things but also creates new things as well.
That sounds awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah, I think it's a really good subject for going through divorce, going through any change in your life as well. I think this is a really good one.
No, it's a very good one. Brilliant. I shall give you the floor. Thank you.
Excellent. So close your eyes and focus on my voice as you start to let yourself relax. Don't force yourself. Just allow yourself to relax as slowly or quickly as you want, as lightly or as deeply relaxed as you need. You don't need to do anything. Just let your body relax in its own time. Letting the thoughts in your mind just drift. Allowing your mind to focus on my voice. Nothing else matters. The sound of my voice takes you deeper and deeper. And every breath takes you deeper and deeper. This is your time. Time for you to relax. To focus on yourself. Everything else can fade into a distant background, becoming less and less important. With every breath in, you can become more focused. And with every breath out, you can become more relaxed. Every breath in, you become more focused. And every breath out, you become more relaxed. Feeling your body becoming more relaxed from the top of your head, down through your neck, into your shoulders, down into your stomach, into your legs, and into your feet. Every breath, more focused, more relaxed. Your mind, calm and relaxed. Deeper and deeper, so that nothing else matters. And allow yourself to float in a calm and relaxing space, focused on yourself. Nothing else matters right now. Simply an awareness that you are you. A you that can remain as you are and enjoy being who you are. Or a you who can change, adapt and become a different you. There's no right or wrong in what you choose. Because every time you think about yourself, every time you consider what you want and what feels good for you, you are redefining yourself, making sure that you're following the path that feels right for you. And as you float and drift now, it feels good to have this time for yourself, to collect memories from the past that support you, that give you resources for the future, to learn from things that have happened so you can make informed decisions in the future. To focus on what's important for you right now. Aware of the things that give you pleasure, that give you happiness in life. And to think forward to the future. To imagine what can happen. To plan what you want to achieve. To start what you need to start. To change what you need to change. To make your dreams your reality. So right now, you have all the times in your life around you. the past, the present, and the future. And you move into that future, feeling comfortable as you make any necessary changes. Maybe learning new things, meeting new people, behaving in a different way, living in a different place, having a different type of life. New and different, but still you. An acorn becomes a new oak tree. From such a tiny nut to such a large tree. But the tree is still part of the acorn. And so you, even as you change, are still you. And you might take your time moving slowly, building foundations, growing into your future. You might move more quickly. You might need to move more quickly. But think about that future. Being aware of what it feels like right now. And taking yourself forward day by day, month by month, and year by year into that future. Your future. A positive future. Letting it become part of you so that you fit into it, you make it yours. It feels comfortable. It feels possible. It feels real. It becomes comfortable. It becomes possible. It becomes real. And along the way, there's constant change, but change that feels comfortable. Tiny changes, gradual changes, or maybe big changes, sudden changes, all can feel comfortable. Confident in your future, enjoying your future. And so I'm going to count now from 5 to 1. On the count of 1, your eyes will open. You can be fully alert, fully awake, fully refreshed, feeling fantastic, confident with the present and confident with your future. So 5, every muscle, every nerve, every fibre in your body feeling full of energy. Just feeling that energy starting at your feet. It goes up into your legs, into your stomach and into your chest. It goes down into your arms, into your fingers, just feeling that energy flowing through you. 4, your mind is clear, it's focused, it's sharp and alert. Right up front in your mind is that knowledge. I can be confident in my future. I can be comfortable with change. 3, taking a deep, deep breath of clear, cool, fresh air. Just feeling that air refreshing your lungs. You feel great. You do feel good. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about other people. Most importantly, you feel good about yourself, confident in the present, confident in your future, comfortable with change. 2, feeling that energy becoming more alert, more awake, positive, confident, and certain. And 1, eyes open, fully alert, fully awake, fully refreshed, bringing confidence and comfort and stretch. And welcome back.
I hope you're all fully relaxed and energised at the same time. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And just to finish off with, we're going to have our and when I say these words, it's not just a tagline. I really mean this stuff. And in the light of the news stories that we've had today and the experts that we've had on, I hope it has a greater resonance for at least some of you. So in the war of divorce, on the battlefield of family separation, always, always make peace your weapon of choice.